Now, people were no longer looking at Lyria disdainfully. She had managed to turn the situation around.
So, tell me what you've been hiding from me?
I didn't mean to hide it from you. I just didn't want to burden you. You have important work to take care of.
Lyria said honestly. The last thing she wanted was to be a burden to someone else. Estelle understood, but she was still upset. She wanted Lyria to share the burden with her so that her friend wouldn't be so overwhelmed. Lyria's life had been difficult since her father's death.
You're not allowed to keep secrets from me next time.
I promise.
No need to tell me again. I heard it earlier. I might get high blood pressure if you tell me again. Your grandmother and mother have truly lost their minds. Lyria, are you sure your father is really their child? I think your grandmother would be better off as a stepmother. She's truly terrible and heartless.
Estelle said angrily. Lyria gave a bitter smile.
Unfortunately, my father is really her son.
Lyria, I don't think there's a mother worse than your grandmother. She has truly failed to be a mother.
Estelle had been friends with Lyria since they were children, and she had witnessed firsthand Mallory's hatred towards Lyria, her father and her mother. The woman's attitude was in stark contrast to how she treated Caitlin and her parents. Lyria agreed with that sentiment. Her grandmother had indeed failed to be a mother to her father.
Lyria, are you really going to marry the mentally disabled man Caitlin mentioned earlier?
I was supposed to marry him, but I have another option.
Another option? What do you mean?
A day before I was supposed to marry Mr. Ramos, I went to a nightclub and slept with a man who I thought was a gigolo. I refused to give my virginity to Mr. Ramos. So I made that decision, and that decision led me to accept Leander, the man I thought was a gigolo. He offered to marry me, and I accepted. By marrying Axel Sev, I can free myself from my grandmother's shackles, and he also finances my mother's treatment.
Estelle listened attentively without interrupting Lyria, although she was very surprised by the fact that her friend had married a stranger she met at a nightclub. However, wait, Axel Sev Leander? Was that the same man she was thinking of right now?
Lyria, is your husband the heir of the Leander family?
Yes.
Wow.
Estelle couldn't say anything else. She was amazed.
You've got quite the catch, Lyria. You truly deserve an incredible man like him.
Lyria smiled softly. Whenever she thought of Axel Sev, her mood improved, even though she had only known him for a few days.
Lyria, you should show off your husband immediately. I'm sure Caitlin will have a heart attack when she finds out you've got a husband who's far better than Raisin.
No, I don't want Caitlin to know. That woman is fond of taking what belongs to me.
I'm sure the Leander family heir has good judgment. Lyria, you're demeaning your husband by comparing him to your unfaithful ex-fiancé.
Estelle replied. She had heard enough about Axel Sev Leander's greatness in the business world. He was very smart and had good judgment, so he would not be deceived by Caitlin, the drama queen. What Estelle said was indeed true. She also had no intention of comparing Axel Sev to Raisin. She knew very well that Axel Sev would never be as foolish as Raisin, who was deceived by Caitlin. She just didn't want Caitlin to get close to Axel Sev and tarnish him with her dirty tricks.
However, it's also okay if you don't want to show him off. You'll become the #1 enemy of thousands of women if they know you're married to Axel Sev, who is more famous than the model on magazine covers. You know, women's jealousy is terrifying. It's like venomous snakes that will poison you to death.
Lyria had experienced such jealousy when she was with Raisin, so she could imagine how frightening it would be when people found out she had married Axel of Leander.
I'll just keep it a secret for now until the situation calms down. By the way, how are you handling the marriage with the Luther family's son? I just pretended to go along with my grandmother's wishes. When the wedding day comes, I won't show up. They want to save the company, but I want to ruin it.
Lyria, I prefer you this way.
Estelle supported Lyria's actions.
When you're oppressed, you have to retaliate harder. What your grandmother and mother did went beyond the limit.
I know. I won't stay silent from now on. Besides, I have you and Axelsev supporting me.
I'm really happy for you, Lyria. You deserve to be happy.
Estelle looked at her friend with deep emotion.
Thank you, Estelle.
No need to thank me. Don't say things like that again, Estelle said gently.
Lyria was truly lucky to have a friend like Estelle who never left her, even in her darkest times.
Milo Rabbit has become a wildcat now. I am truly proud of her.
Axelsev praised his wife after hearing the report from Sylvian about what happened at the restaurant. Sylvian, who listened to his infatuated boss, was not surprised by the praise. His boss would probably still praise his wife even if she committed a crime. Now, his boss had become Lyria's #1 supporter. If his boss's wife was oppressed, he would surely retaliate multiple times.
That's how the mom's young lady of the Lander family should behave. She should be bold and confident. But it's okay if she's a little scared. I'll protect her.
See, what Sylvian said was 100% correct. Regardless of whether his wife was weak or strong, his boss would stand at the forefront to protect her. Meanwhile, at Lyria's grandmother's residence, Lyria was being scolded. Rebecca had complained about Lyria to Mallory and Eugene. The woman complained that Lyria was very insolent and disrespectful.
Mrs. Rebecca, I will definitely teach Lyria a lesson. She will come to you to apologize later.
If my son didn't need a wife, I would never accept such a wild woman like her.
Rebecca scolded Lyria.
Mrs. Rebecca, don't be too angry. Lyria will become a good daughter-in-law in the future,
Eugene said soothingly.
I have other matters to attend to. You must remember to teach Lyria, or I won't give you what you want.
Rebecca threatened.
We will definitely do it, Mrs. Rebecca.
Mallory reassured. In her heart, she cursed Lyria 100 times over. Her useless granddaughter always caused trouble. She was really annoyed now. Rebecca then left. Mallory immediately ordered Eugene to contact Lyria and tell her to come home.
Where are you now? Your grandmother wants you to come home now.
I'll be home soon.
Eugene hung up after hearing Lyria's response.
Lyria, she's really audacious. I'll definitely beat her to death today.
Lyria seems to be really intending to ruin the company.
Eugene added fuel to the fire. The angrier Mallory was with Lyria, the happier he felt. Caitlin entered the living room with an angry face.
Grandmother, mother, that whore humiliated me today.
She began to complain to her grandmother and mother.
What happened?
Caitlin began to tell them what happened at the restaurant. And Mallory and Eugene's faces darkened. The two women really wanted to strangle Lyria to death now. How dare Lyria say such things in public? Moreover, that woman was truly cunning for recording their conversation.
Grandmother, mother, you must get Lyria's phone. She has all those recordings on her phone.
Grandmother will destroy that phone and then beat Lyria. That little wench seems to be tired of living.
A few moments later, Lyria returned. The first thing that greeted her was a vase thrown at her, but Lyria had anticipated it earlier, so she dodged it.
You damn whore! How dare you humiliate Caitlin and say such things about your grandmother and me?
So, Grandmother, do you think I should just stay silent when Tamara and Caitlin slander me? Do you think it's not enough that you've tarnished my name all this time?
You still dare to answer and not kneel immediately. You're truly seeking death.
Mallory rushed towards Lyria, wanting to hit her.
Grandmother, right now, the recording of your cruelty is in the hands of my friend. If I tell her you hurt me, then the recording will spread throughout the upper-class social circle. I'm sure the generous image you've built for years will crumble in an instant.
Mallory became angrier after hearing Lyria's threat. She really wanted to hit Lyria now, but she didn't want her treatment of Lyria to be exposed.
Lyria, you're really audacious. You seem to care very little about your mother.
Eugene immediately took out his phone and contacted the hospital.
Stop Kelly Melford's treatment immediately.
No.
Lyria stopped Eugene. Eugene knew this method would work.
Lyria, you've been acting arrogant these past few days. Do you think we really need you? Caitlin has Raisin, who can help stabilize the company.
Eugene was completely bluffing. They didn't want to seek help from Raisin's family because they didn't want to be seen as taking advantage of Raisin and Caitlin's engagement. They also wanted to show that they could solve the company's problems without help from Raisin's family, so they would have their pride.
Auntie, please don't do that to my mother. I apologize. I was wrong.
Lyria had learned a lot from Caitlin, and after seeing Caitlin's acting for so many years, she had acquired some skills. Mallory was pleased to see that they could still control Lyria.
Kneel now.
Lyria immediately knelt. It was okay for her to look defeated now because later she would come out as the winner.
You must apologize to Caitlin for humiliating her.
Lyria looked at Caitlin.
I apologize, Caitlin.
Caitlin wasn't satisfied with just an apology. She stepped towards Lyria and raised her hand to slap Lyria's face, but Lyria quickly restrained her hand.
I apologize to you, but it doesn't mean you can hurt me, Caitlin.
Mom.
Caitlin complained to her mother.
You can slap her as much as you want.
Eugene said heartlessly.
I'm fine with apologizing and kneeling, but if you want to hit me, then do as you wish. My mother won't blame me if you stop her treatment.
Lyria stared sharply at Eugene. Mallory couldn't bear Lyria's behavior.
Then let you and your mother die together.
The recordings will spread immediately if I get hurt.
Lyria said firmly. Mallory really didn't understand the situation. They had successfully controlled Lyria a while ago, but now they couldn't do anything.
Caitlin, do you want everyone to know what a slut you are? Oh, right. Do you want Raisin to know that all this time you slandered me while flirting with so many men? I think he'll dump you if he finds out.
You.
Caitlin gnashed her teeth in anger, but she couldn't do anything to Lyria.
Look at how you treat your own sister. Lyria, you're truly evil.
Lyria laughed mockingly.
If I'm evil, then do you think what Caitlin did to me was kind? Oh, right. I forgot you don't know what's right and wrong. You're even more wicked than Caitlin.